Welcome back, my dear students. Students, in the previous session, we have seen that the four key players in the criminal justice system are the police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, and the judge. Children, in the previous session, we have discussed about the role of police in the criminal justice system. So today in this session, we will discuss about the role of public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, and the judge. We will also discuss about the fair trial. Children, here we will discuss the role of public prosecutor. Who is public prosecutor? Public prosecutor is a law officer who conducts criminal proceedings on behalf of the state or in the interest of public. Now, public prosecutor is one who represents a state. Children, a criminal offense is regarded as a public wrong. Means, whenever a person is committing a crime, it is not only affecting the victim, but it is also affecting the society. It is not only against the affected victims, but it is also against the society as a whole. Children, if you remember the case of dowry death of Sudha, the case against the accused Lakshman and his family was presented by the state, was presented by the public prosecutor. And this is why the case was called State versus Lakshman Kumar and others. Similarly, the above case, that is the case of Shanti and Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, it can be called as State versus Shanti Hembran and not as Mr. Shinde versus Shanti Hembran. So children, I hope you understood public prosecutor means a law officer. Because he is the officer of the court, it is his duty to act impartially. He cannot have partial behavior, and it is his duty to present the facts, true material, witnesses, and evidences before the court, so that the court can give justice to the innocent, so that the court will be able to decide about the case. Children, now the role of public prosecutor begins only when police has conducted the investigation and filed the charge sheet in the court. Public prosecutor has no role in the investigation. Children, here we will discuss about the role of judge in the criminal justice system. Children, we have discussed that it is not the police who will decide whether the arrested person is guilty or not. It is the judge, it is the court who will decide whether the arrested person is guilty or not. So judge is like an umpire in the game, and he should be impartial. He conducts the trial impartially and in the open court. It is a responsibility of the judge to hear all the witnesses and other evidences presented by the prosecution and the defense. The judge will decide whether the accused person is guilty or not on the basis of evidences presented in the court and in accordance with the law. If the convicted means accused is convicted means the person who has committed a crime has been declared guilty of a criminal offense by the verdict of jury or by the decision of the judge, then the judge will give the punishment. Sentence means punishment. Now, punishment will vary with the type of crime. He may send the person to jail or impose a fine or both, or depending on what the law prescribes. So, punishment will vary with the type of crime. So, it is the judge who will decide whether the arrested person is guilty or not. So, children, here we will discuss the role of defense lawyer. So, defense lawyer means a lawyer who will defend the person, who will protect the person against the charges that are presented. And when charges are brought, there has to be probable cause that the person might have committed the crime. Like in Shanti's case, it was probability that Shanti has committed a crime. Now, children, we have discussed earlier also that when Shanti told the court that she has no lawyer to defend her against this false case of theft, or when she was not able to afford a lawyer, magistrate appointed advocate Kamla Roy as Shanti's defense lawyer at the government expense, because according to the Article 22 of the Constitution, every person has a fundamental right to be defended by the lawyer. Article 39A of the Constitution places a duty upon the state to provide a lawyer to any citizen who is unable to engage one due to poverty or other disability. So, the role of criminal defense lawyer is to defend the person against the charges that are presented. Children, imagine what might have happened if the judge decided to solve Shanti's case very differently. And what if the court did not give a copy of the charge sheet and statements of witnesses to Shanti? What would have happened if he held the trial in a secret location where neither Shanti nor Sushil was present? What if he did not give Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witnesses of the prosecution, such as Mrs. Shinde, and instead had already decided that Shanti was guilty? Children, if this has happened, then Shanti would not have got justice. And this will not be the case of fair trial. This will be the case of unfair trial. And this is because for a trial to be fair, several procedures have to be observed. Children, according to the Article 21 of the Constitution that guarantees the right to life, states that a person's life or liberty can be taken away only by the following a reasonable and just legal procedure. A fair trial ensures that Article 21 of the Constitution is upheld. Now, in Shanti's case, firstly, Shanti was given a copy of charge sheet. Children, we have already discussed that if the police think that the evidence points to the guilt of the accused person, then he will file the charge sheet in the court. Now, children, charge sheet means a record made in a police station of the charges against a person. Now, here Shanti was charged with the offense of theft, and that was defined as a crime in the law. Children, here we will discuss fair trial in detail. Children, we have seen in previous slide that if judge would have held the trial in a secret location where neither Shanti nor Sushil were present, then children, it will not be considered as a fair trial. Now, for a trial to be fair, it should be held in an open court, in public view, in front of everyone. So here, in Shanti's case, her brother Sushil could attend the court hearings. And also, trial was held in the presence of accused. Accused means a person who has committed the crime. So Shanti was also present in the court. Now children, in the previous slide, we have discussed what if the judge will not give Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, enough time to question the witnesses of the prosecution, such as Mrs. Shinde, and instead he had already decided that Shanti was guilty. Then Shanti would not have got justice, and it will be considered as a unfair trial. So in case of Shanti, Shanti was defended by a lawyer. Shanti's lawyer, Advocate Roy, was given an opportunity to cross-examine all the prosecution witnesses, means Mrs. Shinde and Mr. Shinde. Advocate Roy was given an opportunity to present the witness in Shanti's defense. It means here accused Shanti got an enough opportunity, Shanti got a fair trial to prove herself. Children, as we have discussed, if the police think that the evidence points to the guilt of the accused person, then they file a charge sheet in the court against the accused person. So here police filed a case of theft against Shanti. But judge assumed her to be innocent. Because see, it was a doubt that Shanti has stolen the gold chain, but it was not proved. So it was a responsibility of the prosecution to prove beyond the doubt that actually Shanti was guilty or not. So in this case, prosecution failed to do so. So it was significant that judge decided the matter only on the basis of evidence before the court. Children, in the previous slide, while discussing the role of judge, we have seen that judge is like an umpire in the game. And he has to decide the matter only on the basis of evidence. So in the case of Shanti also, judge did not jump to the conclusion that Shanti was a thief just because she was a poor maidservant. Instead, the judge remained impartial and a fair trial was given to Shanti. And later, it was a evidence that some young man and not Shanti was a thief. So judge set Shanti free. So in Shanti's case, justice was finally done to her because she was given fair trial. Now the constitution and the law both state that all of the persons that we have discussed in the chapter, like we have discussed about the four key players in the criminal justice system: police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, the judge. They carry out, they have to carry out their rules in the proper manner. This means they all need to work to ensure that every citizen, irrespective of their class, gender, religion, background, gets a fair trial when accused. Children, we have discussed about the rule of law also. So, rule of law also says that all persons are equal before law. Nobody is above the law. And if anybody violates the law, whosoever the person is, he is liable for the same punishment, irrespective of their caste, creed, religion, background. So, the rule of law, which says every person is equal before the law, would not make much sense if every person, if every citizen were not guaranteed a fair trial by the Constitution. So, children, we will quickly revise the role of four key players in the criminal justice system. Now, role of public prosecutor. So, public prosecutor is a law officer who conducts criminal proceedings on behalf of state or in the interest of public. So, public prosecutor is one who represent the interest of the state, who conduct the prosecution on behalf of the state. Now, the role of defense lawyer. So, the job of criminal defense lawyer is to defend the person against the charges that are presented. And when charges are brought, there only has to be probable cause that the person might have committed the crime. So his role is to defend the person against the charges. Now the role of judge. Children, as we have discussed, judge is like an umpire in the game and conducts the trial impartially and in the open court. So judge hears all the witnesses and any other evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense. Judge decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent only on the basis of evidences presented and in accordance with the law. If the accused is convicted, then the judge pronounces the sentence. Now about the fair trial. A fair trial is an open trial by an impartial judge in which all the parties are treated equally. And the right to fair trial is one of the fundamental guarantees of human rights and rule of law aimed at ensuring administration of justice. So fair trial includes fair and proper opportunities allowed by law to prove innocence. Children, I hope you have understood the chapter very clearly. Thank you, my dear students. Stay home, stay safe.